Now, before I begin the video, I would just like to let everyone know that I have a sore throat. I'm not feeling very well, so that's why it probably sounds a little weird. Also, the audio of the video is just generally not that good anyway, because I'm using my laptop mic. But anyway, let's get on with the video. So, Assassin's Creed 2 is one of my favourite games. It was one of my favourite games. In fact, it was probably my favourite game of all time for quite a few years actually. I liked it so much that I actually played the rest of the Assassin's Creed series. It really got me into it. I played all of them, including the first one, all the way up to Unity, and I stopped at Unity because, I mean, Unity wasn't that great. And then, in fact, I liked Assassin's Creed more than I liked Call of Duty when I was a kid. I remember someone asking me, it was like, which is better, Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, which kind of shows you how long ago that was, because no one's really asking that anymore. But I liked the game so much, and during lockdown I didn't really have much to play, so I thought I would try the game out again. And man, Assassin's Creed 2 has aged extremely badly. It has not aged well at all. Now, before I talk about all the bad stuff, I do want to say that there is still some stuff that is objectively good, because there is a reason why this game was so popular and why so many people like me really loved it, and that's Ezio. Ezio is such a great protagonist. He's even now he still feels pretty cool. Even in Assassin's Creed, without seeing where his story goes, you still really like the character and you still really want to spend time with him. He's just a really good character. I like his voice acting. I like how he interacts with others. He feels very cool. He's like a very charming character, but he doesn't feel arrogant in any way, but he also has his flaws as well because of how young he is. So you feel like he's got room to progress, but you also like him, and you feel like he's a very honourable dude while still doing some not so honourable things. The other aspect of the game that has aged really well is the climbing mechanic and also the level design. The level design is so much better than what we have in current Assassin's Creed games, and it all links towards the climbing mechanic, which they seem to have forgotten in current Assassin's Creed games. They seem to forget that the climbing mechanic was one of the best parts about the old Assassin's Creed games, because the levels are the open world is designed in such a way that you're going to have to climb across the rooftops if you want to get anywhere. So the climbing mechanic is very baked into into the game. There's lots of missions that are based around the climbing mechanic, and it's kind of just sad to see that those mechanics and the overall level design is kind of just given way to this just generic open world in the current Assassin's Creed games. It would be unfair of me to crap on the current Assassin's Creed games without talking about the negatives of these old ones as well, as much as I used to love this game. There are a lot of glitches in Assassin's Creed 2. A lot of glitches. Surprisingly, they happen mainly during cutscenes. It's not actually during gameplay or anything. It's during the cutscenes when you don't think there would be. There are moments where characters would just walk into me and walk through me during cutscenes. There was an especially notable case where their character model just did not appear in the scene. It was very weird. Like, there was a scene where they were just stabbing at the ground and there was nothing there. I'd already seen the scene before, but it was just so weird. It made the scene very confusing, and if you hadn't played the game before like I had, you probably would be wondering what was going on. Another aspect about the game that I don't like anymore is the combat, which is really surprising because I remember really enjoying the combat when I was younger. It was very simple, easy, it was very flashy, very brutal, and yeah, there are times where the combat still comes across very well, especially when you stab a guy in the back. That was just fun to do because it's just a one shot, but it feels so floaty, and it feels like you're kind of just whacking him instead of stabbing the guys, hitting at the air without actually doing anything to them. And they don't really fight back or anything. So the combat has not aged very well at all. The story as well of Assassin's Creed 2 is very bland and uninteresting and very forgettable. The only things I remember in terms of story was everything involving Desmond Miles. I thought that was actually very interesting and fun, and mainly because it carried over from the first game. And the other aspect was everything to do with the weird gods and that. I didn't know what I can't remember exactly what was going on, but that was when the story got interesting. But everything else just was kind of just bland. The antagonists are just no longer memorable. They get like 5 minutes of build up and then you kill them. And yes, sometimes the level design helps out with killing them. Sometimes it is fun to just assassinate them. There are certain levels that I remember. The antagonists, they don't really get much build up. There are a few exceptions. For the most part, they actually appear near the beginning, and the characters, they all kind of just blend together. They're all just guys in robes, or they're religious figures that you're killing. I couldn't name any of them, to be honest with you. And the side characters are also very weak, which is something I wasn't expecting. But you spend so little time with them, they don't get much development in this game, and it's very sad to see. There are a few exceptions, like Leonardo da Vinci is amazing. He's a really good character, he's a fun character, and I'm glad that he appeared in all of Ezio's games. You can clearly tell that people liked him. But yeah, the game just kind of reminds me of current Assassin's Creed. Like all the issues with Assassin's Creed 2 are all present in current Assassin's Creed. It's just that those good elements like the climbing, Ezio, the great protagonist, the level design is all just gone now in current Assassin's Creed. All the bad elements remaining, but all the good elements are just gone, and it's kind of just, it's weird to kind of go back. Because I remember playing Assassin's Creed 2 and then playing the newer Assassin's Creed being like, how did we get here? But when you go back and you play Assassin's Creed 2 now, you can see, yeah, this feels like a very realistic progression. It doesn't seem as surprising now that we've got to this point. Now I haven't played all of the new Assassin's Creed games. I haven't played Valhalla. I played Origins. I thought Origins was actually good, but then Odyssey I got bored of because it felt like the same thing again. I kind of feel like Assassin's Creed has become a stale franchise now. And it's a franchise that has only gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's just no longer fun, no longer interesting. You don't really see people talking about Assassin's Creed anymore. It's kind of just like, well, a new Assassin's Creed game's out, may as well play it. The franchise as a whole is kind of hit and miss anyway. Yeah, you got Assassin's Creed 2, which I don't think's good anymore. But you would also have games like Black Flag and Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Rogue. Those games were all very good, but they were always counterbalanced with Unity, Syndicate. A lot of people don't like Assassin's Creed 3, even though I actually really enjoyed it when I first played it. Although, considering how I've responded to replaying Assassin's Creed 2, it'd be interesting to see how I respond to Assassin's Creed 3. But yeah, the franchise as a whole has been very hit and miss, and sadly I feel like it's been mainly just misses recently. I don't think they've had any game that's made me go, wow, this was really good. I know some people do really like Odyssey, but I just found the game really boring and it wasn't for me. And honestly, Assassin's Creed 2 has just been ravaged by time, and there's no current game that can really replace what we got from Assassin's Creed 2 when we first played it. Assassin's Creed now is never going to give us a game to counterbalance that. It's just so disheartening to go back and see that it's aged so badly, and then they've tried to remaster it, and the remaster's apparently terrible as well, fixing nothing. In fact, if you look at side by side, some of the remaster actually looks worse. It's all over the place. I've kind of just given up on Assassin's Creed, to be honest with you, and I'm just sad now that I can't go back and play Assassin's Creed 2. And because it was one of my old favourites, and I can't play it anymore because it sucks now. I feel like Assassin's Creed 2 is a game that they should probably just remake, just remake from the ground up, because I just think we need a game like that now. But yeah, I'm very sad. You know, at least I've got Ghost of Tsushima. That kind of just solves all my issues. You know, it's got the stealth, it's got the climbing, and it's got amazing combat. So yeah, at least I've got that. But I kind of want an Assassin's Creed game to be good again, and I don't think we're going to get that for quite some time, although I'd love to be surprised. But anyway, thank you for listening to my thoughts on Assassin's Creed 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Bye bye.